Hey everybody, I want to talk to you today about 7 reasons you will hate living in Louisville, Kentucky. And I do that because I would hate for you to move all the way here from California thinking it's going to be pastures and horses and this utopia, and it may not be, for you. So before you make that big switch, I want to help you to know where to go, and we're going to do that right now. But before I get started, if you can go ahead and hit like and share, and then maybe leave a comment, I would appreciate it. Even if you don't like my videos, I appreciate you just tell me what you don't like about them. Maybe I can do a better job. So getting right into it now. The first thing I have would be the Kentucky Derby really isn't for us locals. So sometimes it's really cost prohibitive for us to go to the Derby. And I'm going to share my screen here in a second and just go to the KentuckyDerby.com website for tickets. And just so you can see what the costs are there, therein. So we here typically we're going on Fridays, which is called Oaks Day here. And now even the day before Oaks, which is that Thursday, they call it Thurby now. So it's become more into the week. Typically here in Louisville, people will have more parties. More of the locals will have parties at home, at their homes. But there are, as you probably well know from my other videos, there are a ton of events leading up to the Derby. It's literally months of events, but the 2 weeks before are the big push of all the parades and the steamboat races and that's when all the tourists and such come to town. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. And right here. All right. So as you can see, this is the home stretch club seating. And this is just one of the different types that you can purchase. And for example, you're looking at $2,600, $2,650 per seat. And of course, price subject to change. And I'm just trying to see if that's 2 days. You got your first turn reserved seating. That's $1,200 per seat. And like infield uncovered reserved is $495. Now I find that to be kind of funny because back in the day, especially like in the 80s, probably more 90s, there was it was pure debauchery in the infield. And if you Google Tony Vanetti, you might figure that out. There's a lot of stories about him and others who did a lot in the infield that was not something that's being done today. So here's some grandstand box seating. Let's see, I don't think it doesn't have the prices here. Here's grandstand bleacher and stadium seating. And you can see the sections, they go from what, $695 up to $1,060, depending if it's covered or uncovered. So as you can see, oh, here we go. Clubhouse box seating, uncovered is $4,900 for 2 days. And so that just kind of gives you a little idea of what the costs are. So typically people, like I said, here in the Louisville area, feel that, there's some people that are going to go no matter what, it's there's some legacy. They do it every year. But a lot of people don't go maybe to Derby proper. They might go Thursday anymore and even on Fridays. So, all right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If I can figure out how to do that, stop share. All right, I'm back. So the next thing that I want to talk about, so number 6 would be the humidity. The humidity here is absolutely ridiculous. It is a lot. It is a lot to deal with, especially for a fat girl with curly hair. So I know my hair is semi-straight right now, but in the summertime, it frizzes up, crazy frizz up. I have coarse hair and it just grabs it, and it's tough. It's a little bit better in my older age, but when I first came here, the humidity killed me. Literally, I didn't go outside the first 2 summers. I would come in to the house or my apartment, have the AC running all day, didn't care, and then go to work, AC in the car. I didn't go outside. I had bought some rollerblades thinking I was going to go rollerblading. It was too damn hot. So I took them back, and I don't even take things back. But so I'm going to share my screen. I have a graphic about the humidity in Kentucky. So let me share that with you. And just to kind of give you some ideas about the humidity. And let me share screen again. All right. So as you can see, these are talks about the different days, the temperatures between 95, 105, 115. Oh God. And for more than an hour or more. And it breaks it on down. But they're saying the total days with the temperature at least 95, 200. I don't know that that's accurate. I don't know where they got that number. I disagree with that. So I'm not sure about this graphic being accurate. I did have a different graphic. Here we go, humidity levels. Although now I'm questioning the validity of this. But this is more, okay, this is where I was earlier. So the average yearly relative humidity is 69%. And I would say that's very accurate. And in the morning, it's 81, and by the afternoon it's 55. So I think this is pretty accurate. You know, and you can see Lexington, Jackson, and Covington. Covington is just up by Cincinnati, so they're almost mirroring us. But of course, because we have the river right there, so humidity is pretty high here. And so therefore things like, and I'm going to talk about them, but allergies will be high in that. So I'm going to stop sharing that since that's all we really need from them right now, right? And so I'm not a fan of humidity. I'm from the north. I'm from Wisconsin, and so humidity is different. I laugh because when I grew up in Wisconsin, and it would get hot, what we considered hot, people would say, I remember the old people saying, it was not the heat, it's the humidity. They have no flipping clue what humidity is. I swear to you, not compared to this stuff here. So just keep that in mind if you're a person who does not like it humid. All right, moving on to number 5. Number 5 would be the allergies. Louisville is the second worst city in America. You heard that right. The second worst city in America for allergies. And I'm going to show you another graphic that I found. Let me pull that up real quick for you. And here it is. Sometimes I'm technically challenged, so bear with me. All right, so it says we in 2014 we were number 1, but then in 2000, I know in 2022 we were number 2. So yay, we're top of the list, right? So the bluegrass is one of the reasons, and the Ohio Valley is another reason. Our proximity to the river basin and the bowl-like structure of the Ohio Valley, our smog ratings, and the humidity that hangs over us create just bad allergies, especially the spring. Now, just some people have the fall and the summer, some people have them all year long. I'm going to stop sharing my screen with you, but I just wanted to show that, and that's from an allergy and asthma company. I did find some other graphics in support of that, just so you know. But allergies are no joke. I can tell you when my dad came to visit, he has always had allergies, but they were always controlled. He took some medication and it was no big deal. But he wasn't a baby about it at all. But when he came here, he, like, the moment he pulled into town, he just could feel the difference. He'd say, what is, he didn't really realize it. He wasn't like it was cognizant of it, and, you know, and it mentally was, you know, manifested. But he noticed it right away. I have worked with people that literally had to go get their allergy shot once a week. So they have to beat ass out of work, drive across town to their allergy place, get it, the injection, beat ass back. So it is a significant problem for some people. Thank God I've never had that problem at all. My daughter doesn't, my husband doesn't. So it's not something we've ever had to deal with. But people that do, it is a big deal. And half the time you don't know if you've got a cold or you have your allergies kicking in. So, and I think they feed off each other, unfortunately. So if allergies is a thing for you, I would truly reconsider moving here. It's just a lot. So the number 4 reason that you may not want to move here would be the crime. And I know that is kind of the elephant in the room, especially over the last few years. We, after the George Floyd thing, we had right around the same time, we had the Breonna Taylor situation, and that created a lot of chaos here. And it is, I've done videos, and if you go search them, to show you that yes, while we do have crime, it is not like the media portrays it. So I don't want to take that away from being one of the worst things we have, because it is, but it is also not to the extent that the media portrays it. So in that other video, and I hope you go look at it, I literally do a drive through town at 10:30 at night on a nice warm 70s September night. And I take you right into the deep parts of Louisville where typically where all the crime is. If you pull up the crime map, there's lots of crime statistically in those areas. However, once I show that to you, you can see it's not like you step out onto your porch and you're getting shot up. It's just not like that. Typically, most of the crime that is being perpetrated is people that are, I don't want to call it gangs. I don't know if it's gang, but it's gang, drug. They know each other, like domestic violence, things like that. I don't know that I don't have any evidence that is random as media portrays. Not to say that doesn't happen. I want to be very clear on that. Yes, sometimes things happen against innocent bystanders, but I work downtown Louisville. I'm here many nights past 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Sometimes I'll work till midnight, 2, 3 in the morning. Quite honestly, sometimes I spend the night. So it's not something I worry about. I do carry, so that's not a concern. I don't have as big a concern as maybe somebody that doesn't carry, but I do know a lot of people walk in the area and don't seem to have a problem. So I think if you are not in the in amongst the people that are doing the dirt and the crime, I don't really think that you'll have the problems that the media portrays. But crime is something to consider. It can happen anywhere. One thing I have seen is that people are catching on those Ring doorbells, is people trying to go through their cars more than and they'll go in like 4 groups and they'll drop them off. And these are in really nice neighborhoods. They'll drop them off, and especially in a cul-de-sac, you can kind of see them go all the way around into all the different houses, not into the houses, but into all the different driveways, trying the cars, and so there's been a big push the last couple of years, just really make sure your car is locked. So crime is everywhere, but just being smart about it. And that's really why you want to have someone like me who knows the town, who can guide you through the home selection process, understand your lifestyle, understand what bothers you. Me, like I said, I carry. I'm from the country. Nothing really bothers me. I will live in any part of town and feel comfortable there. It just depends on what stage it is in my life. When my daughter was younger, I was probably a little more leery, wanted to be in certain parts of town than others, just for the fact of not having to worry about her out in the yard. But as an adult and with no minor children anymore, now I don't really care where I would live. I can be comfortable anywhere. But if you do have children, you're moving here, you probably want to rely on someone like me that can help guide you through that process. All right, moving on to number 3, flooding. So we do have flooding. Now, I would say it's about once every 4 or so years that it seems to be where, we got to kick everything out. Take the floodgates the barricades, and they're pretty cool. They come out of these, they come out of these concrete things, and they go together like that. They're on both sides of the river, the Indiana side and our side. Streets will be shut down, especially like on River Road. Downtown will get some flooding by Joe's Crab Shack, and the 3rd Street exit will be closed usually. Out in Prospects, River Road goes all the way to Prospect. So you'll have those closures. Very few other places typically, that as far as in the Louisville proper, will have problems. You're just looking at along the river, and then specifically more downtown, and so we do have that happening every like I said before, I was so rudely interrupted. So the flooding, businesses will close, roads will close. They activate pump stations, and flood walls are exercised. So I feel like it only happens once every 4 years or so that something like that happens. So you really want to think about, do you want to live on the river? Do you want to live in an area that you need to use the river to the road, river road, for example, to get to? So think about that. When I moved here in 90, well, I moved in 96, but in February 97, there was this big flood. And it was really kind of crazy because some of the interstates were closed. And understand, I didn't know where I was going. There, you know, we didn't have MapQuest and all that stuff yet. And so I just found a car that I lived in Indiana. I just lived just north of the river. And so I found a car that had Indiana plates and I just prayed that they were going home. And I followed them. And that's how I got home. It's funny because I would have not known how to get home. I was lost. So that's the flooding. That's number 3. Moving on to number 2. And before I do, I want you to go ahead and make sure, if you haven't done it so far, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to my channel so you're notified every time I post a video, okay? All right, moving on to number 2 would be the tolls. The tolls have kind of gotten to be a pain in the ass, if I was being transparent. So at first it wasn't a big deal, but what I have found is that the transponders aren't always picked up, but magically they're able to pick up your license plate. Now I find that ironic that they don't pick up my transponder, which is located right where the rear view mirror is. You know, you put it right around there, but yet it picks up my license plate. So I'll get a notification in the mail that I went across the bridge and that they charge you, of course, full price, which is, I think, right now $4.20 or something. But then they charge you a fee to do that. And then if you don't pay within, I think it's a week. So if you didn't pay attention to your mail or something, you know, you're already past that week, which happens to me all the time. And then they charge you like an extra $25. And then if you don't pay within, I want to say 30 days, it goes up to $50. So this normally, if it would read the transponder, $2 charge can become 50 some dollars super fast. That's my beef with the whole toll bridge thing. It's open tolling, so there's no, stop, pay, and all that. It's and not every bridge has it right now. So right now, the downtown bridges, the main ones, the Abraham Lincoln, and then the JFK bridges, which are the main 2 downtown bridges, do have the tolls. The 2nd Street Bridge, which is a very small bridge, it's just a 2-lane bridge that's very busy, it's busy for a reason, because there's no tolling on it. Also, the bridge on the west side, which is from kind of the west end to New Albany, that bridge, which is always under construction, I swear to God, it's under construction right now, and it's a mess because it's a double-decker bridge. So then, anyway, it's just a mess. And that one is not tolled. And then the one on the east end that they built in 2015 is tolled. And that has saved people a lot of money, because if you lived in the East End, let's say in Prospect, to get to Indiana, you had to come all the way downtown. And then let's say you were going out to Utica, you'd have to come almost all the way back to where you lived. Whereas if there was a bridge, you could have just crossed over and been there in, 5 minutes. You had to basically drive 40 minutes, So when that opened, that changed a lot of things for people out there. It changed neighborhoods. I mean, literally changed how people were planning these neighborhoods, the developers and so forth. It was a big deal, super big deal. And it was 20 years in the making. It was ridiculous, maybe more. It was just been going on since I moved here. So the tolls are kind of a pain in the butt. I'm not crazy about them. I don't let it change my path. Some people do, but it is frustrating because all the kinks are worked out. And then there's a lot of discrepancies about where's the money going and blah, blah, blah. So I don't really get into the weeds of that, but tolls are kind of a pain in the butt. So, all right. And my number 1 worst thing about living in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, before I tell you, I need you to go hit like, subscribe, share, do all those things, please. And then if you need me, I hope that you call me. My name is Margaret Weathers. My number is 502-664-9971. And I would love to be able to help you find your home in Louisville. And now I'm going to share with you that one of the worst things about living in Louisville, Kentucky is basketball. Basketball is king here. They are crazy, nuts, lunatics about basketball. I didn't get it. Come from Wisconsin, football state, right? Packers, Wisconsin football. And get here and it's all about basketball. I didn't get it. People were traveling to go watch U of L play. And I'm like, where are you going? I mean, who travels to watch a college basketball team? It was just so weird. Like, is your son playing? No. Okay. I didn't get it. I get it now. I do. It's like their version of the pros, right? Because there's no pro team in Louisville per se in basketball or football. So they're nuts about basketball. If you do not like basketball, it will suck. You'll just have to just grit your teeth if you come here, because you have UK, which is just 70 miles up the road, and then you got U of L, which is in Louisville, of course, and then there's we do have the Bellarmine Knights, which are going Division I now, and then we have quite a few colleges in the area, but IU is up the road, but they haven't been relevant, in a while. Sorry, IU, but you haven't. And although Louisville's not relevant right this moment, they're working their way back, apparently. So I'm not trying to get into the politics of that, but I have had a customer for some years. We were the official mover of U of L athletics, and we had a UK customer who pissed on our tire, if that tells you anything of how serious it is. Here, they have houses divided, signs and floor mats, doormats, things like that. So it's a big deal. Big damn deal here. Basketball. So there's a lot of, not much work gets done during tournament time, to be very honest. And don't let one of, UK or U of L go to the Final Four or anything, because then it's just people are taking off work. Never seen anything like it. So that's everything I have. Excuse me, for the top 7 reasons that your worst things about living in Louisville. And hopefully they'll help you decide whether you want to move here or not. And I'd like to be part of that process. So give me a call, 502-664-9971. Till next time, take care of each other. Thanks. Bye-bye.